How do we feel about the red? How do we feel about primary colors? As you can see, I'm like not a primary color girl. I'm like a whites mostly, a blacks occasionally, and then like I like to throw in a pastel or a green. Kind of like the energy of the book, I'm like earth and muted tones. You know, so that's the downside of being the creative director of all of this. I like that I'm the videographer. I like cameras, basically. I like that I'm the production director. I like that I'm the editor. I like that I'm the sound and the lighting. What I don't really like is I'm the talent, because the director is supposed to be in charge of the talent, and it's hard to tell yourself, like, no, costume change. So, no costume change. So I'm a little too lazy. And also I'm just very excited about dressing something else. A salad. That's the kind of professional dressing that I'm meant to do. So today we're gonna do spoon salad from my cookbook. Everybody Can Say in Unison, out October 29th, available for pre-orders now. Everybody who has pre-ordered, thank you so much. And keep a pulse on the channel, because there will be some very interesting, very cool giveaways launching in October. But we're doing this salad because it's different than your normal spoon salads. A lot of spoon salads you probably heard are like beans, really finely chopped vegetables, cold dressing, super refreshing, but kind of like the same cold salad, raw vegetable, mix it, and you're done. This one, I wanted it to be a cooked salad, so we have, let me paint you a picture. Grilled cheese, halloumi, not like a grilled cheese. Blackened and charred cauliflower, nutty, toasty roasty farro, avocado that's like a bit underripe so that it doesn't fall apart in the salad, and then an agrodolce, which if you haven't had one, it's an Italian condiment, but I also consider it a caramelized salad dressing. Honestly, the heat of the salad is why I'm in my vibrant Christmas sweater. I'm gonna hydrate a bit before we start, because production, videography, they're all ready, but talent's feeling a little feeble. Hi. Welcome to the chopping corner, where for some reason I decided to make things extremely difficult for myself today. But I know I mentioned everything with the salad. We also have a ton of tender herbs, so those are gonna be your micronutrients. Wait, I'm lying. Like, cauliflower has micronutrients, farro has micronutrients. I don't know why I have this pumpkin here. We'll get to that maybe 2 weeks from now. But everything from the salad is super micronutrient dense. The vegetables, what you're gonna want is cauliflower, a red onion, an avocado, maybe 2 if you're feeling it. Tender herbs like mint, cilantro, dill. I have some really great basil, so I'm also gonna include that. So I put you in a new little mise en place station. I'm trying to figure it out. We're cutting the cauliflower into bean sizes. I use the size of a bean as a pretty standard chopping metric. Somebody once was like, that's a little weird, and I think it's so useful because the bean is a pretty standard, like, understandable size. And finely chopped versus roughly chopped always means something different to me, so like this is a bean chop. I flip the cauliflower upside down and chop from the bottom down, and that just makes it way less messy than if you're chopping the sides first, because those tend to go everywhere. Now, halloumi, for those of you who aren't cheese enthusiasts, which I expect the majority of you to be cheese enthusiasts, so just like bear with me while I catch up the rest of the class, you know? But halloumi is a cheese that's kind of like a squeaky cheese in terms of consistency when you don't cook it, but it's designed to be grilled. It holds together really well when it hits heat. And so I use it for this salad as a source of both protein and cheese, because I don't think we talk about this enough. Cheese and dairy have protein, definitely not as much as your traditional sources of protein like tofu, fish, meat, etc. But you can't discount them altogether. So I do think having a bit of cheese in there makes it taste really nice and gives you that extra filling protein that you need. If you're vegan, you can also do tofu instead of halloumi, because what's cool is they act very similarly. And if you can't find halloumi where you live, no sweat. Feta is really good here. You don't grill that though. Or just swap in tofu and feta. Ricotta salata, any salty cheese will work. The tiny pieces, don't sweat those, they'll be fine. The one thing that will not be cut to the size of a bean is the red onion, and that's because it's going to be part of the agrodolce. We're just going to thinly slice this, and you'll kind of see what happens, but an agrodolce is vinegar and honey cooked down together, so it's super acidic. So the red onions will start to look exactly how they look when you pickle them, so like nice and pink, because they're going to be hitting all that acid in the agrodolce. With me being all cocky, I forgot the most important part, because I was like, oh, we have everything meased, we have everything right. I forgot the underripe avocado. I'll be responsible. The reason this is important is because I think this might be the one recipe in my book that needs a caveat. There's a difference between an underripe avocado like this, which has a little bit of give to it. It's like the one that you pick up at the store and you're like, nice. In a day, 2 days, this will be the ripeness that I want, where I can mash it and put it on my avocado toast. That's the underripe avocado I'm talking about. There's a difference between this one and then this one, which is a rock. I did that for dramatic effect and it worked out actually well. There was a lot less chaos than I was anticipating. The huge difference is this, not palatable, not good. This, incredibly good, and has a little bit of an herbaceous note that really ripe avocado doesn't have. Also has enough hold in it still that it will hold together in a salad like this. Because if we were to put in a perfect, beautifully, like traditionally ripened avocado, it would kind of hit every small piece of the dressing and mash into it and turn it all into one giant guacamole, where we really want the avocado to keep its integrity. Because this one looks nice. She went to Chilton. They also have a little bit more hold to them when you cut them. Thank you for your patience. This is not even the level of the normal mise en place that we do for these recipes. I just feel like this week I've been prepping a lot, so maybe a little chopping fatigue. That felt fatiguing to me, but now we're on the stove. I need another LaCroix. Are you drinking enough water? It's important. Now, we start the salad. When I was writing the book, you have a ton of people weigh in on the book, from editors to editor assistants to copywriters to copy editors to recipe testers. And one of my recipe testers was like, this recipe is kind of a lot. And I remember when she said that, it hit my ego because I was a little bit protective of all the recipes in the book. And I was like, what do you mean by that? Like, you just do the cauliflower in the pan, then you do the halloumi in the pan, then you make the agrodolce, then you combine it with the farro, and like, you're done. But I think she meant it's kind of a lot because you are gonna be cooking a decent amount of time. So cumulatively, if we're working at the same time, this salad does take about 30 minutes after mise en place. And that's me being honest with you. It's worth it though, because like you saw our mise en place. All the flavors that that's gonna give you is just like, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Oh no, I'm running dangerously low on olive oil, which is a problem for this recipe. I'll restock. But our farro is gonna simmer for 20 minutes, and in that time, I'm gonna try to get the cauliflower and the halloumi cooked. This pan is over medium heat. Gonna warm up the olive oil, then get that in there. Normally I'd say do 2 batches. I believe in us, and I think we can do 1. Because if we keep moving it around, then every piece will get a chance to brown evenly. I left the cauliflower for like 4 minutes just to get the underside browned, and then now I'm giving everything a mix. Alexa, stop. We're at the 7-minute mark. So I'm giving everything a mix to let it continue browning on all sides. We're gonna let it go another 3 minutes. It should be cooked, but not mushy. So al dente. Al dente is like the preferred cooking method. What is medium rare if not al dente steak? Okay, this level of browning is honestly perfect. And then I have to move my book. Do we do the aesthetic salad bowl or the unaesthetic? I feel like this is a visual medium. So I can't get by without doing the aesthetic one. The aesthetic bowl just means clear. Oh, and I forgot to season the cauliflower, so pinch of salt. And we'll let that chill out there. And our farro timer went off, so I'm just gonna drain that, and then that'll go right in with the cauliflower too. And no, I didn't wash this out. I'm just putting it back over medium heat, adding a little more olive oil. I refilled. And then the halloumi. And the halloumi's gonna brown too, so having it on a pan that already had some charring and browning on it, no big deal. And after about 3 minutes of letting it cook untouched, you'll have one side charred, and there'll be enough oil in the pan that you can kind of shake it and move it around and get all the other sides evenly browned. And then 5 minutes, the halloumi is done. And we're not wiping out the pan again, I fear. If you take anything from this channel, honestly, I hope it's do less. No, but pan back on medium heat. I think it just hangs out on medium heat. And we're gonna make the agrodolce, which is the easiest part. And that is going to be what we haven't used, because since it's measured in the book, I get to not measure here. And that just like, music to my ears, because you don't really need to measure that. It's gonna be the red onions we chopped earlier. And there's like still some oil and fat from the cheese, so you don't have to worry about oil here. In the book, I call for 2 Thai red chilies. I keep these in my freezer frozen chopped, and so I just thawed those really quickly. If I buy Thai red chilies at the grocery store or bird's eye chilies, I tend not to be able to use them quick enough, so I freeze them. And they're like garlic, you can just use them whenever. And then a 1/4 cup of honey, 3/4 cup of red wine vinegar. I don't know if I have enough, so I might supplement with apple cider vinegar. Of the vinegar families, these 2 are the most closely related in my brain. You could add sherry vinegar, but that tends to be a bit nutty. And then our 1/4 cup of golden raisins. And this just reduces for 8 to 9 minutes. And while I stir this, we're gonna do a quick little Justine's agrodolce education corner. Because I said an agrodolce is like a caramelized dressing, and I mean that in a sense. It's mostly an Italian condiment. You will see raisins and red onion in it most commonly. You'll also see a ton of different dried fruits, and it really just is reduced honey and vinegar, but then you pour it over red onions, so the red onions kind of pickle it. Here, I'm lazy, and I'm adding the raisins, the red onions, and the vinegar and honey together, all to reduce and mingle together in the pan. First, because it deglazes the pan. 2, it allows the raisins to more quickly absorb all the sweetness from the honey and the liquid from the vinegar, which then makes them just like a better bite in the salad, in my opinion. You can already see the onions are getting really pink and really wilty, so it's mostly that. So I apologize to all Italians out there. I've never done Italian recipes correctly, but that's my agrodolce shortcut. And that's the level of syrupy we're going for. The onions will look a little sticky, and then this will go straight into the salad, and that's the end of the cooking. And then in with the avocado. I don't know if the camera captured it, but the onions really are beautifully pink, and they're wet enough that everything acts as a really nice vinegar dressing. And the avocado's holding their own, which is exactly what they're designed to do. You do need some arm muscle. This makes a lot of food. Like I said, I'm here to serve your family of 4 or you 4 times a week. Now I'm gonna tear in the herbs. I think that looks prettier than having them chopped. It's like everything you can eat with a spoon, but the herbs are like these nice pops of green. In the book I say 1 cup because measurements are important, but that really just means as much or as little as you want. It's just more green, and who doesn't love green? Okay, so we have cilantro, and then our basil, just a few leaves. Since it's only Eric and I that are eating this. I know they're good because they're in the book, but when I taste a book recipe and it's so good and it makes me so happy, and I know it's gonna make so many of you happy, it's just like a high on another level. Okay, let's plate this up. We are so close to dinner. I can't believe I'm using forks. That's so counterintuitive. But this salad is gonna be like filling, wholesome. Everything is like scoopable, so it's hearty and cozy, but the agrodolce is gonna bring a lot of sweetness and acid to everything else that's nice and round and earthy and a little bit fatty from the avocado. And the herbs like liven it up. And like I said, I already ate a huge portion of this while I was like setting up different shots, so it makes a decent amount of food. Okay, but enough about me. Let's take this to the backyard. As my other reward, I heard Real Lives of Mormon Wives. It's really good. So if you've watched it and you agree, report back, because I'm probably going to be watching it after I finish this.